Welcome back to my channel, everyone. 3 tips here. What I have here is a box of sterling silver candlestick holders and cream and sugar bowls and other various pieces of sterling silver. And as we travel around and come across this stuff in like antique shops, yard sales, places like that, and we just buy it and we throw it in this box, and then it has a tendency to sit here and accumulate on me. So what we're going to do is it's got weighted material in the bottom here. I'm going to take all that weighted material out, and then we're going to process this sterling silver. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. 3 tips here. And what I have here is a box full of sterling silver articles. We just buy it and I throw it into this box and just let it build up, and there's so much in here. Now what I've got to do is this material down here, it's not solid silver, there's some weighted cement in here, and I need to take these all apart and process these and get the sterling silver off so we can process it, and that's what we're going to do in this video. What I need to do with these pieces is I used a pair of cutters, 2 pairs of cutters, and you got to have some gloves on because this stuff is razor sharp when you go to take it apart. And what I do is I just peel this back piece off like this, and then there's some cement in there. And what we do is I just take my tool and just knock it out like that. And that's ready to go. So I'll just keep going through all these. We'll put it on time lapse and peel off all the silver from each piece and get it ready to go into the acid. And then once I get it peeled off, what I'll do is I'll stick it up here in this little pan, and then we'll take this stuff out, burn it, and get it in some acid. I've got everything cleaned up now. All our cemented material's been removed from the pieces of silver. I had this piece here, wasn't quite sure if it was sterling or not, but then I found some markings on it right there, and I tested it, and this is in fact sterling silver. So we'll add this to our bin of sterling silver that's cleaned. And we're ready to burn this now and add it to some nitric acid. Here is our bin of sterling silver that we just mechanically cleaned. We got all the cement out of it. Back here I have some silver jars. We have silver nitrate solutions in both of these jars. They're full from my gold refining, but there's excess nitric in both of these, as well as in this beaker. So what we're going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of the solution out of here into this beaker. I've got it on some low heat over here. I'm just going to pour some of this silver nitrate solution. It's blue because it also has copper in it, but it also has a little bit of excess nitric. And so in order to be able to consume the rest of the nitric acid from these solutions, what we'll do is we'll add it to this beaker, fill it up to about the 2-liter level. Don't want to get it too full because we're going to be adding pieces of sterling silver to this, and it will react fairly vigorously because there's a pretty decent amount of nitric acid left in those in that solution. Let me get this jar out of the way for right now, and what we'll do is we'll pull our bin of silver up here. Start burning the silver with a torch and adding it piece by piece into our jar back here in the back. You get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. What I'm doing is adding pieces of sterling silver. And trying to consume the excess nitric that's in this solution. I do that by adding more silver until there's no more reaction going on in there, and all the fumes are gone and no more bubbling occurs, and there's still some undissolved silver in there. That's how I'll be able to tell when all of the excess nitric acid that's in this silver solution has been consumed. The reaction is complete in here. All the available free nitric acid has been consumed by those pieces of silver that we added. I've turned the heat off and allowed this to cool completely. So now what we're going to do, we've got a filter flask set up down here, and we're going to go ahead and filter our solution back here down into this through this filter. Here we go. Here we've got our silver mother liquid in this flask now. I'm going to set this out of the way. I'm going to set this up on the heat. As you can see, there's still some undissolved sterling silver in there. Now let me pull this out of the way for right now. And we're going to continue to add the silver from my gold refining operations that has excess nitric in it. I'm going to start pouring that into our pieces of sterling silver in here. And say it one more time. The reason we're doing this is to consume the excess nitric acid that's in this blue liquid that I'm pouring off. This jar here has some silver nitrate crystals that have formed down in the bottom there, and they're highly soluble in water. If I wanted to, I could just add some water and then put it in our beaker over here, but I'm just going to leave it like it is because there's some sediment on the bottom don't want to disturb that, and add that into our silver that we're dissolving over here. So I'm going to set this out of the way now. I haven't started adding any heat to this yet. I think you can see there's a little bit of fumes starting to form in there, plus the silver is starting to react with the nitric acid that's in that blue liquid. So what we're going to do is go ahead and add a little bit more from this silver jar, carefully. And I don't want to put too much of this acid solution. There's silver in here, but there's also unused nitric acid in here. If I fill this thing all the way to the top, I could get a runaway reaction that causes the beaker to overflow. So we're going to add just a little bit more of this. Fill it up to about the 1,500 milliliter level. We'll put the lid up here on this now and add a little bit of heat. Here you can see we're starting to get some fume formation in our beaker as the silver is dissolved by the action of nitric acid. Down here what I've got, the silver solution in this beaker, or in this flask rather. So we're going to take and transfer this funnel. Those solids could contain precious metals, so I'll save the filter and add it to my paper storage. Set this out of the way now. Now what I'll do is pour some of this silver bearing solution. It's going to be loaded with silver. This is a silver nitrate solution and copper nitrate. Plus it looks like it might be a little bit of a green tint to it. So there could be some other metals in here, such as platinum group metals. I'm going to measure out. Let's go for this experiment. We're going to do about 1 liter of our silver nitrate solution in our beaker. Here's our silver solution. And what I'm going to do now is convert the silver nitrate in there to silver chloride with hydrochloric acid. Here we go. I'm going to add the hydrochloric acid in here. Let me get something to stir this with. And form silver chloride in our beaker. Here we go. I'm going to add the hydrochloric acid right on into it. Ton of it in there. What I'll do now is add just a little bit of water. Doesn't have to be the still water here, you can use tap water. And just to dilute it down a little bit, aid the reaction, and keep stirring until we get all that stuff converted into silver chloride. I've got all the silver chloride precipitated. I'm going to add just a little bit more, a few drops, little drizzles of hydrochloric acid, see if we form any more silver chloride. And I don't see any evidence of that, so we've got all the silver chloride converted now with hydrochloric acid. I'm going to rinse all the blue liquid off of our silver chloride over here with some tap water. Pour it in this bucket. Here's the silver chloride, been rinsed free of the blue liquid. And if you look down into this waste bucket here, I've got nearly 4 gallons of copper in solution. This will be a waste solution, and I'll have to treat this before I can dispose of it. We're going to move it out of the way for right now. We're done with the rinses. What I have here is some sodium hydroxide lye, and we're going to use this now to convert the silver chloride up here into silver oxide. I found that the best way to do this is with one of these submersible handheld mixers. It's got a little blade there, and I got this at the thrift store for about $4. Before I get started, I'm going to add some tap water. So there's about an inch or so of tap water sitting on top of the silver chloride. Now we're going to go ahead and add some of the lye, a scoop of lye. Just going to add it right on in. You'll see it change its color. And what we're doing is converting the silver chloride now to silver oxide. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit more water, keep it hydrated. Now I'm going to add another scoop of our lye. Add that right on in. And continue to mix it up to form silver oxide in here. Look at it. See how it's turning black? Just keep doing this until we get a nice dark black color. If I need to add water, I'll keep adding water just a little at a time. I'm going to add another scoop of lye. Here we go. And turn the mixer on. Add another scoop of lye with the mixer running. You see there's steam coming off of there. This is an exothermic reaction. It's a brown color, and we want to keep adding lye until we get it to turn black, looking for jet black. It's another scoop of the sodium hydroxide. See, it's getting a little bit dehydrated, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. Now another scoop of sodium hydroxide. Mix it up. This reaction produces quite a bit of heat. Got 181 Fahrenheit, 83 Celsius. And so what I'm looking for here is a jet black color. And it's almost there. Here's the level right here. This is all liquid on top of it. I'm going to add one more scoop of sodium hydroxide. beaker that contains our silver oxide down into this bucket down here. Let's shoot this and get a temperature on it right quick. We've got 59 Celsius, 140 Fahrenheit. So now what we're going to do, I've got some regular granulated sugar, just like you use to sweeten your coffee, your tea, or your breakfast cereal. We're going to start adding this in real slow now. This reaction is very vigorous, and I've seen it overflow before. That's why I've got this down in the bucket. So what we're going to do is start out by adding spoons of sugar, about like that. Here we go. 1, 2 spoons. I'm going to set that and let it, let's see what it does here. Like I said, I've seen it boil up and out of the beaker before, like a volcano. Reach down here and stir it up a little bit. So now I'm going to put a little bit more sugar in there. And what's happening here is, as we add the sugar, the silver oxide reacts with it and forms pure silver metal. Let's get a temperature on this. It's like 202 Fahrenheit, 94.8 Celsius. You can see it starting to boil now. Steam coming off of it. And we're getting the reaction that we want now out of this. A couple more spoons of sugar. Let's see where we're at with this thing. Goes 97 Celsius, 206 Fahrenheit. Let's give it a stir. Oh yeah, I can feel the silver accumulating down on the bottom now. Oh yeah, there it goes. Look at that. See it bubbling and boiling now? That's 208 still, 97.8. It's not that bad. 204. Like I said, I have seen this stuff boil up over the top of the beaker before. So you gotta be careful when you're doing this part of the reaction. Very hot. We're pretty much done here. I'm gonna add another spoon of sugar. Boiling up pretty good there. Fahrenheit, 102 Celsius. Let's give it a stir. I think the reaction is done. 213 Fahrenheit. 100.8 Celsius. I think it's safe to take it out of the bucket now. Set it up in the fume hood. Here we go. And you can see the silver that's formed in there. Looks just like cement silver. We're going to take this outdoors and rinse all the lime sugar off of it now. What we're going to do is get a baseline pH reading on this rinse water. As you can see, it's about 12, 11, or 12 pH. And what we want to do is get this neutral. I'm going to get all the lye and sugar rinsed off of here until we get a neutral reading with one of these pH strips. Rinse with about 4 gallons of tap water. Let's reach in here and see what kind of reading we got with our pH paper. And we're only at about between 9 and 10 maybe for the pH. We need to be to 7. So we got a lot more rinsing to do. I've got this bucket full, so now I'm going to pull this off to the side, start a new bucket. All right, we're starting to get there. We're starting to get all the lye rinsed off now, getting close to neutral. A little bit more accurate test strips here. Let's get one of these out. We're going to test our pH in our solution here. We want a pH neutral, which is right here. Let's see what we got now. Looks like we've got, that's still above 7.0. Probably still about 8. Looks like maybe between 7.5 and 8. Still. Down in here with a test strip. Let's see where we're at with this. I think we're there. I'd say that's 7.0, maybe even 6.5. Between 7.0 and 6.5. So we're there. What we'll do now is I'm going to take this in, and well, let's get the rest of this liquid poured off of here. If you look inside of here, I've got 2 5-gallon buckets full of rinse water. 10 gallons of rinse water to get all the lye and sugar rinsed off of my silver. Alright, I'm going to take this in now and process it. Get this silver into a drying dish now. What we'll do is pull the heater up here, and we'll set this up on some heat. It's a pan within a pan. The reason I do it like this is so that the silver in our drying pan doesn't spatter and pop a bunch of silver everywhere. So we're going to use a water bath to dry the silver. Pretty sure we got this all dried out now. Scale here. Here's our silver. It's dry as a bone now. Looks excellent. We've got 384 grams of pure silver. So this is about 12 troy ounces of silver. Let's get us a melt dish up here. That's 129 grams of silver in that melt dish. We need 155.5 for a 5 troy ounce bar, minus 129.2. So I need another 26.3 grams to add to this to make a 5 troy ounce bar. Let's get this off of here now and put a dish in here. We need 26.3. Now wait a minute, we gotta turn the scale to 0. Let's see what we got here. There's 15. 32. Take some back out. 30. 26.2. Go with just a little extra. our silver bar in a beaker here. It's got a little bit of flux that came over with it, so I'm going to add about 100 milliliters of distilled water. Put it up here on some heat. I've got some sulfuric acid. What I'll do is add about 5 milliliters to this water and the bar. And what that'll do is that'll dissolve off that flux for me. Been in that 5% sulfuric acid solution for about 5 minutes. There's little bubbles forming on the bar now. That's how I can tell when it's done. We'll take this in and rinse all this off and look at our bar. Squirt it off with a little bit of distilled water. There's our bar. Here's our pure silver bar. It's been a while since I poured one of these. I used to pour silver like this with everything that I ever refined and then sell it on my eBay site. But I haven't had to do that in a few years now. So we were shooting for 5 ounces here. Let's see what we got. We got 5.05 troy ounces. All right, I'm happy with this one. It came out looking pretty good. 999 fine silver. I'll add this to my stack. I've got some more pure silver sponge over here from this experiment. All right, this will conclude the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching.